So I think the killer was, I just spoke to the girl in the box. Um, so I think the killer was, I hate it when my hair's pulled back, I just look like an egg. Hi. Anyway, I think it's Robin Newman because one, I think that we're going to have a little bit of a, even though he's still gonna be like a prosecutor, I feel like the defense, the kid in blue, you know, he's all like cool and collected, very Edgeworth like. That's not suspicious to me, all right? That reeks to me as, oh, you thought he was suspicious, didn't you? Because he was all like drawn back. But the loud one, he's who we typically see in like shonen stuff as like a protagonist. He's spunky, he's loud, he's enthusiastic, and he's determined. And beyond that point of it being like, in my opinion, probably a better story foil, I think that it is interesting that when you speak to him, he says, if only there wasn't that rule. The rule about if you get convicted of a crime, you can't graduate. No matter how small. And so immediately that line is like, okay, so the real killer is probably like framing Junie to cover up an even smaller crime, right? Because they want to graduate. So yeah, so I think it was him, and I think that he's doing it to keep his vow. That the three of them are gonna end the dark age of law, and he wants to uphold his end of the bargain. And the only way to do that is to graduate law school. He seemed upset about the rule, which, like, Junie wouldn't graduate, like, the rule doesn't matter. Junie wouldn't graduate anyways if she's in jail. If she goes to prison for murder, and people, and the penalty for murder seems to be pretty harsh. Like, it seemed, we don't see any of the characters who get convicted of murdering it, which has some unfortunate implications for how harsh the penalty, like, even though it's been years and years and years, it's like we could see some, like, here in real America, it's like I think the minimum for first degree or maybe second degree is 10 years. And it's like, it's been about 10 years since the first game. We're not gonna see Von Karma again. We're not gonna see Diva Vasquez. She should be out. She should be out. Because she like didn't even intentionally murder a guy. Diva Vasquez should be out. Because it was like self-defense and she didn't do it on purpose, if I'm remembering correctly. She should be out for sure. Red, white, I don't know. I guess it depends on how that case went. It's pretty cold-blooded, the way we know it went down. But it's hard to tell if it was premeditated, which matters. But yeah, we don't hear about them, which implies that they probably go away for more than 10 years. Or that it's just not, I guess it could just also be that it's not relevant. But anyway, he blames it on the rule, and it's like, Junie want to be able to finish this law school from prison, probably. Well, I guess Blackwell is. Maybe he could teach her. Aw, cute. I like Blackwell. I'm like, they said, here's my other theory too. They said that he was like the beginning of the Dark Age of Law. Now, the characters have gone to interpret that as like, oh, Blackwell does law super shady. That's why he's the beginning. No, I think they mean his conviction was the beginning of the Dark Age of Law. And I think that Blackwell was probably wrongfully convicted. So his conviction was the start of the Dark Age of Law because Blackwell didn't do it. He's just a super weird guy, and he dresses up his hawk in matching clothes. Would a murderer do that? Yes, murderers can have any kind of personality. But anyway, yeah, I think it's the one with the kid that looks like Apollo, or acts like Apollo. He doesn't really have like the same hair. The sweaty one. There's paint on him. He's a lot going on. He's a lot going on. And then the quiet one just kind of like holding a pole. I don't know what that is. I feel like that's a cultural thing that I'm like, I don't understand what that is. But yeah, so that's my theory on what's happening in the overarching plot, and what's happening in this case, which I hope ends up good. I am not a lot of people say it's like third case like syndrome. I don't know if there's third case syndrome. I think I think Big Top Turnabout was bad, and I think the restaurant one was awful. I hated that one. I quit on that one. Whenever they were talking about the mirror, I was like, this is too much. It's too much. I'm not interested. I don't care about these people. I don't care about this drama. There's like too many moving parts for some reason. And then you're trying to tell me, and then I know it doesn't even end up being the case, but it's like, but for even a second, you're trying to imply that these people didn't notice there was a mirror in the room. Are they parrots? Are they parrots? I think that's the thing with parrots, though I'm pretty sure it's probably not true, because I feel like parrots are smart enough to figure out what a mirror is. Like, after they hit it, I could, like, when you first come in a room, if you're at, like, a certain angle, I could see you being confused about a mirror. But if it's, like, in the middle of an eye, like, it's, like, close to them, so you would see yourself in the mirror. I don't, like, so, and it's like, I know that they're trying to be like, oh, well, that old guy's a doofus. How big of a doofus? How big? But anyway, there was something else I wanted to say too. Oh, but I will finish my point about third case syndrome. I like the samurai case. I know some people don't like Turnabout Samurai, but I liked Turnabout Samurai. I remember what I was going to say. Let me end the video here. I liked Turnabout Samurai. I don't think it was good. I mean, I do think it was good. I think it gets a lot of flack. It was probably a little too long. Because, like, Turnabout Goodbyes is long, but it earns it. Because it's like, oh, this is what you've been waiting for. This is, like, what all of this is. And that is going to lead into my next point, which, since it's leading into my next point, I might as well just say my next point, which is that I've heard a couple people say things along the lines of like, oh, Trials and Tribulations is the only Phoenix Wright that has like an overarching plot, because Dahlia is involved with, I believe, every case. And that's not true. That's not true. I can't remember the second one. The second one, it's been like, it's been a while. It's been a while, and I haven't like the first one, it's been a while, but I rewatch other people's playthroughs of it constantly. I watch the Game Grumps ones and the Press Button and Talk ones. And then with the second one, I need to keep listening to the Press Buttons and Talk one again. So I can't remember that one. But the first game absolutely has an overarching plot. It's not involved particularly in the crimes, but you see it in court. The whole overarching plot is Edgeworth's character development. So yeah, that doesn't apply to the first one because you go up against Winston. But from the second one, you get it established how like brutal Edgeworth is in court. You see how dirty he can be with the whole like updated autopsy report thing. Like you get this establishment of like who Edgeworth is at the beginning of the game, which is this like D1 prosecutor, right? And you get it established, his personality, his temperament, everything about him, and like how vicious he is in the courtroom. And then in Turnabout Samurai, you get that same Edgeworth for 90% of it. And then you convince him. You have not proven Will Power's innocence yet. You have not proven that D. Vasquez was the true killer. But you convince Edgeworth. And then you fucking go like you are playing tennis. It just is like you are both throwing questions at her. And it is so like, yes, Edgeworth, come on, Edgeworth, yes. He's on your side. Because for a lot of reasons, he is a fan. It's really unethical. He should not have been the prosecutor on that case since he's a fan of Will Powers. But I do think that helped. As shallow as that makes Edgeworth seem, I think that helped. It being connected to some piece of like childish enjoyment that he has managed to bring with him into adulthood. Which, I don't know, that's sweet now that I say it like that. But what was I saying? Oh, so yeah, and then you have that bit of character development where it's like, oh, maybe like you as the player are now thinking for the first time, maybe there is some good in Edgeworth. And this is before yeah, I'm absolutely certain. maybe I'm wrong, but I'm pretty certain that this is before we know that Phoenix knew him before we know that like Phoenix has like always believed in Edgeworth. This is your first time as a player where you're like, he's not a bad guy. Like you are like, maybe he's just trying to get the killer like all of us, and he just is like, Gumshoe's probably right. okay, Edgy, that's like fine, whatever, boy. Just okay. Yeah, and then that like you can't just have turnabout goodbyes. You could probably cut the first case because the first case is practically a tutorial. So like think about the movie, the live action movie, which I would like to watch again. Maybe I will do that in just a minute. But the live action movie, it's like, you have a lot to get through because you have to do 3 cases. And if you want Mia's death to mean anything, you have to do the first one. So, but basically, the overarching plot of the first game is Edgeworth's storyline. It's like Edgeworth's character development. It's a learning about him, learning about where he's at, why he's there. Well, the why only really comes in goodbyes. But like, and they wait until goodbyes to do a plot. The fact that they were childhood friends, I've never seen a plot twist that was like, oh, a plot twist that comes from the character you're playing as. That's cool. I like that. Not like a plot twist that character learns about themselves, but like, this is information the character has had that the player has not the entire time. Which is, yeah, I became a lawyer so I could figure out what was going on with my childhood friend. You know, and they tease it a little bit. Phoenix Wright is so good. I was thinking about it again with something because I was listening to a video essay, but also texting my friend about things that happened in the video essay. And we were talking about a point, and then I was like, oh, haha, they actually just started talking about that in the video essay. like we talked about it a couple minutes later. The girl was talking about it in the video, and they're like, you're psychic, and it's like, I think it's just good writing. I think they just laid the trail to their next point pretty well. The lead up was really well written. I'm gonna hit stop on this, and then I'm gonna find out that my mic has been like covered by I hope the mic isn't on the bottom of the iPad and it's on like the screen side, because otherwise I don't know how this audio is gonna be. I don't know why my lips look cute today. Maybe it's just this camera. Wait, like most of the time when I'm on night shift and I go to the bathroom and I look at myself in the mirror, I am like, I don't know, you can still see my dark circles, but even like my lips will look like pale, and I am like, get that girl some iron. Who is she? She looks terrible. Anyway,